Hey everybody, this is Robbie at Amped again, and this video is going to be a little different than what we usually do. As opposed to showing our personal products, this is actually more of a product video for our guy down in Virginia. His name's Rudy at Bingo Airsoft Works, and I recently, me and Curtis, we got our first ever Rudy custom Polar Star guns done. Now this is the Tokyo Marui MP7. We have two of them here. The black one is Curtis's and the tan one is mine. And this is not something that we claim to have the ability to do, nor is it something that we think we will ever be able to do in the foreseeable future. Rudy is a machinist. He is very, very skilled at what he does. He's done everything from, MP7s, he's done F2000s, SA58s, you name it, and he can pretty much do it, and he's done it. So to find out more about him, go on his website. It is www.bingoairsoftworks.com, and that's also where you can get all the info about contacting him and getting your own personal gun done as well. So I thought I'd show off these guns a little bit, because they are a little different, and I know that as well, looking online whenever I was putting my barrel assembly in it, it was really hard to find a detailed guide on how to take one of these apart. So that's also what this video is going to be about. I'm going to take the gun apart and show you how to take the fusion engine and or gearbox out, because in this case, with the new revisions that Rudy's been doing, they come out pretty much the exact same way. So let's get started. So the first thing I really want to cover before we really dig into it are the pros and cons about the MP7. Now obviously it's very, very small. This is pretty much the smallest Polar Star rifle or submachine gun that you can possess. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into one of these things getting to work from Rudy. It all pays off. It's a very, very compact package. This gun's probably less than 16 inches long, which is the length of a lot of M4 and M16 outer barrels. So, relatively half the size of a CQB rifle, and it still has very, very similar performance despite having that shorter barrel. Once again, these are the Tokyo Maruis. He can also do the well. I don't remember the exact number. I'll probably link it in the description somewhere. But it's their version. It's their clone of the Tokyo Marui MP7. It's the exact same thing. It's just obviously not up to par with the quality that Tokyo Marui presents themselves with. So first major con with one of these guys, and this is something that's unavoidable, is battery storage. Now the battery and FCU are both stored up front where the battery would usually be, in the hollowed out section above the outer barrel, and it's not exactly easy to get everything in there. You have to be very gentle and very meticulous about it, because if you jam the FCU and battery in there incorrectly, you can crimp a wire and damage your wire harness. You just have to be really, really careful when it comes to doing that. Other con, in my opinion, is that if you're not very tech savvy, if something goes wrong, say if you have any standard fusion engine issues like electrical issues or anything like that, you're gonna have to send your gun back to Rudy, because this thing's very, very different than any standard V2. It's not exactly the most difficult thing to figure out, but if you're not into that stuff, if you're not into take apart your gun, you're gonna have to send it all the way back to Rudy, because he understands it better than anyone else, of course. Okay, taking apart these things isn't actually that difficult. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna look on the right side of the receiver. There are two bolts toward the back half, toward the stock section, just like there would be on a real one or a KWA, but these ones, unlike the gas blowback versions, are held in by two number 2 size metric Allen keys. So you're going to want to unscrew those, pop the pins out, also take off the back screw on the top rail. That's actually what holds the mock charging handle in place. And then also the 2 front screws on that rail as well, in front and behind where the front sight usually sits. From there, your upper rail will pop off to reveal some of the fusion engine and wiring. Then after you get those pins out the back, you can pull the stock off. But before you get too excited and pull the fusion engine out, there are 2 motor connector style connectors attached to the trigger unit. That's actually what enables your trigger, since it's separate from the fusion engine itself. It's pretty clever in my opinion. So you pull those off with some needle nose pliers, and then from there you can gently split the back half of the body. There's pins on the top and bottom of the body that hold it aligned, so there's nothing really holding it together other than those pins that we pulled out a little earlier. So you can split the back half of the body a little bit, then just slowly and gently pull your fusion engine out of it, and voila. So as you can see, this thing's pretty crazy. He pretty much took everything except for the original cylinder section of the fusion engine, mounted it above the fusion engine via 3D printing, and also 3D printed a bracket for the bottom to keep everything aligned properly. Now this is what I was talking about before. Like I said, if anything goes wrong with this, unless you're really feeling a little adventurous, these things are not exactly the most simple things to take apart, and you have to make sure you get it all back together 100%. That way it works properly. After your fusion engine is out, you can simply tilt the gun back, and your barrel and hop-up assembly will slide out. So if you want to put a tight bore in it, for example, Curtis and I both run PDI MP7 length barrels. I mean, that's how you take it apart. So the barrel just slides right out. Then from there, it works off a very similar C-clip design to most hop-up units. Barrel slides right out, swap the bucking over, put the barrel back together, and you're all good to go. And then everything goes back together just as easily as it came apart. Put the fusion engine back in, Close up the body, make sure you're not pinching any wires anywhere and everything's falling in place properly. Plug the two trigger wires back into the top. Put your back stock assembly back on, throw the pins through, put the screws back on the rail and install the rail again, and you're good to go. So overall, once you get good at this, you can probably get it done in about 5 to 10 minutes. So it's not exactly slow to get done, it's just the fact that it's so meticulous and you have to get everything back together the correct way for it to function properly. If you want to see some gameplay of me using the MP7, click on the link right below my head here. That'll take you to the video of us when we went to CPX for Operation Red Dawn 4 in Chicago, Illinois this past weekend. Other than that, if you have any questions, feel free to comment below or message us. Check out our Facebook at www.facebook.com/AmpedAirsoft, and also check out our other videos by following the channel link below. All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.